This is Radio 84 MHz, broadcasting from the bustling streets and hidden alleys of Vietnam. You are tuning in to the frequency of inspirational stories and unfiltered vibes. Today, we follow Mark. The Wall Street Shark is back. Mark looked at a map of Vietnam's 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites and saw only one thing: underdeveloped real estate. To him, ancient citadels were just piles of old bricks, and mystic caves were just holes in the ground waiting for an elevator. He wanted to turn sanctuaries into casinos. But he didn't know that some things are built to outlast even the richest empires. Presenting American Investor, Tear Down These Ruins, and the Silent Wrath of the 9 Guardians. Don't forget to subscribe for more hidden gems. And tell us below, do you think heritage is a barrier or a bridge to the future? Now, let's listen. I hate old things. On Wall Street, old means dead. If a company doesn't innovate for 3/4, I strip it for parts and sell the scraps. That's how I bought my first yacht. And that is exactly why I'm standing here, in Da Nang, Vietnam, staring at a map that my local partners call national pride, but I call the most inefficient portfolio in history. They call it the map of 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I call it a treasure map, locked away by sentimental fools. Are you guys kidding me? This is the business plan for 2025? I point at the projector screen, displaying a breathtaking drone shot of the complex of Hue monuments. Look at this, Hue, an Imperial city. Fantastic. But tell me, how much revenue does this capital generate per square meter? What do I see here? Blackened, mossy walls, stagnant ponds you people call feng shui systems. You are wasting hundreds of hectares of prime real estate in the city center just to preserve, what? A dignified silence? My Vietnamese assistant, Nam, adjusts his glasses, his voice trembling slightly. Mr. Mark, this is tangible cultural heritage. UNESCO recognized it in 1993. It symbolizes continuous political power for nearly 13 centuries. History doesn't pay the electric bill, Nam. 19th century political power doesn't buy Apple stock. You know my clients, whales, from Shanghai, New York, Dubai. Do you know what they want? They don't want to walk until their feet bleed in 40-degree heat to look at crumbling ruins. They want AC. They want casinos. They want an 18-hole golf course overlooking the Perfume River, not listening to that sleepy court music you brag about as intangible heritage. I walk to the window, looking down at the developing city. Numbers are running through my head. Vietnam is rising, yes. GDP growth at 6 to 7%. FDI flooding in like a waterfall. A new tiger of Asia. But their tourism mindset is stuck in the last century. They think just having beautiful scenery is enough. Wrong. Listen, I turn back, my sharp gaze sweeping the room. I didn't fly halfway around the world to hear fairy tales about Son Doong or Ha Long Bay. I flip to the page about Ha Long Bay. Ha Long Bay. 2,000 limestone islands. Pretty. But why can't we build a cable car system connecting the peaks? Why isn't there a 7-star hotel right inside the caves? You protect it too much. Natural beauty is just a fancy word for lack of infrastructure. You are literally letting money float out to sea. Nam tries to push back, his voice weak but firm. Mr. Mark, Vietnam's appeal lies in its authenticity. International tourists come here because Hoi An ancient town still keeps the soul of a 15th century trading port, untouched by concrete. Condé Nast Traveler ranks us as one of the friendliest and most attractive destinations, precisely because of the old things you are dismissing. I smirk, the smile of a superior being. Nam, you're so naive. That's what magazines write to sell copies. In reality, tourists come once and never return because they get bored. What they need is entertainment. I have a new proposal. Forget this buffer zone preservation plan. I pull out a blueprint I hired a Las Vegas architecture firm to sketch last night. I spread it over the UNESCO Heritage Map. Project New Indochina. We will target the buffer zone of My Sun Sanctuary, or Hue. I want to level the dense forests around it, reroute the river flow. We will build a self-contained resort complex. Clients won't need to know if it's Vietnam or Vegas outside. They will spend money, and we will tax every breath they take. But sir, my sun is the holy land of the ancient Champa kingdom. Interfering with the buffer zone will disrupt the geological structure and feng shui. Not to mention, the storm season in central Vietnam is very harsh. Stop! I slam my hand on the table. Don't talk to me about the weather. I have technology. I have reinforced concrete. I have heavy-duty pumps. If your baked brick towers have stood there for 1,000 years, why wouldn't American concrete? Don't deify those old bricks. They survived on luck alone. I look straight into Nam's eyes. I give you 24 hours to arrange a field trip. I'm going there myself. Not to feel the sacred soul of the mountains and rivers like you people say, but to prove to you, these heritage sites are dead assets, and I will revive them with money and concrete. If that old shrine blocks my bulldozer, I'll move it. The room falls silent. I know they think I'm an arrogant foreigner. Maybe they're right, but I'm an arrogant foreigner holding $130 million in investment funds. And in this world, money always speaks louder than history. I turn my back, staring out at the Da Nang Sea. The sky in the distance is turning a grim shade of gray. The forecast said there's a storm coming. Good. A storm will be the best test for my arguments. Let's see if your so-called 1,000-year resilience can withstand the true power of nature, or if it's just rumors. I said I would do it, and I did. 24 hours after that meeting in Da Nang, I'm standing in the middle of central Vietnam. Nam calls this typhoon season. I call it product stress testing. We are standing in front of the new Indochina showroom, a prefab structure of steel and tempered glass I had erected overnight to prove my vision. It's modern, sharp, and completely sealed with AC humming quietly. Not far away, about 50 meters, stands an ancient wooden ruang house and an old citadel gate, part of the heritage complex I plan to relocate to make room for a parking lot. Nam, look, outside is hell, but in here, the surface of my coffee hasn't even rippled. This is the power of modern infrastructure. You guys fear nature. I tame it. Nam looks out the window, worried. Mr. Mark, the forecast says Typhoon Yagi is shifting unpredictably. Gusts are hitting level 12. This location is a low-lying area. The ancients never built sealed houses here. They built stilt houses, or had natural drainage systems. The ancients again. I laugh loudly, my voice drowned out by a crack of thunder. My drainage system is concrete pipes with a 2-meter diameter American standard. Not a single drop of water can. Suddenly, a large chunk of the gypsum ceiling above my head collapses, bringing down a waterfall of rain. What the hell? I scream. A site engineer rushes in, his face drained of blood. Mr. Mark, the underground drainage is overwhelmed. Runoff from upstream carrying mud and debris has completely clogged the concrete pipes. The water is backing up. The steel foundation is eroding. Before he can finish, the whole building shakes violently. Wind blasts through the cracks, creating a pressure differential. The expensive tempered glass, my pride and joy, starts to fracture under the wind pressure and the twisting of the steel frame. Run! We have to get out of here, Nam yells, grabbing my arm. We dash out into the blinding white rain. The wind slaps my face, stinging like cuts. The water is already knee-deep. A murky, raging current is sweeping away the glossy, new Indochina project billboards. Get to the car! Fast! I scream. Too late. It's floating away. Nam points. Our high-clearance SUV is bobbing and drifting toward a rice paddy. I genuinely panic. For the first time in my life, I see money and concrete rendered useless. A small vortex is forming, right near the showroom. The steel structure groans, then collapses like a cardboard house. My future just turned into a pile of scrap metal in seconds. In there! Hurry! Nam points toward the dead asset, the ancient wooden house and the old gate I plan to demolish. We wade upstream, gripping the roots of an old banyan tree, climbing the blue stone steps of the ancient house. The moment I cross the ironwood threshold, everything changes strangely. I'm soaked, gasping for air, leaning my back against a polished black wooden pillar. I look around. The floor is dry. Not a single drop leaks from the mossy yin-yang tile roof. The strangest thing is, even though the wind outside is gusting at level 12, this house isn't fighting the wind. The wooden joints groan softly. The whole house seems to sway, flexing with the storm rather than rigidly resisting it. Why? I stammer. Why isn't the water flooding in here? We are at the same elevation as that showroom? Nam wrings out his wet shirt, calmly pointing to the front yard. Do you see that semicircular pond in the front yard? You plan to fill it in for a tennis court. That is Doong, gathering water. When it rains hard, water flows there first, then drains out to the river through an open brick channel system. It doesn't get clogged because it's an open system. Mud settles at the bottom, clear water flows out. That is 19th century infrastructure. I look out. Indeed, the water is flowing in an orderly fashion. Nam points to the roof. And this tile roof, the pitch is calculated to cut the wind, pressing the house down tighter when there's a storm, instead of being ripped off like your flat steel roof. This isn't backwardness, Mark. This is resilience. I'm stunned. Outside the window, my modern pile of scrap is slowly sinking into the mud, and I, a billionaire, am being sheltered by a pile of old bricks I once despised. The stone citadel gate in front, blackened with moss, still stands tall, blocking the wind for this house like a steadfast old soldier. I recall the UNESCO report on Hue. The layout of the capital aligns with ancient Oriental philosophy and respects natural conditions. I laughed at it then. Now, nature is laughing at me. I thought I brought civilization. But in this storm, I am the barbarian holding expensive but fragile toys. These heritage sites didn't survive for 1,000 years by luck. They survived because the people who built them understood the earth and sky 10,000 times better than I do. I shiver, not from the cold, but from shame. Last night, I slept better than I have in 10 years. Not on a $5,000 memory foam mattress, but on a bamboo cot. This morning, when the storm cleared, Nam didn't say a single word of blame about my $2 million pile of rubble out there. He just quietly placed an iPad on the table. Mr. Mark, he said, last night you saw the hardware of heritage, resilience. Now, look at the software, its true value. On the screen is an encrypted email from the Swiss Heritage Value Fund, a secretive Swiss investment fund I've been trying to court for 5 years, only to be rejected every time. The subject line reads simply, "Why we chose Vietnam and rejected you." I open the attachment. It's not a standard business plan. It's a heat map of global luxury tourism cash flow, and the brightest burning center in Southeast Asia is 9 red dots on this shaped map. What the hell is this? I mutter, my fingers swiping rapidly through the data pages. Page 1. Nature's Monopoly. The report indicates that Ha Long Bay isn't just rocks. It is the most complete and extensive example of karst geomorphology in the world. Competitors? None. You can't build a second Ha Long Bay, no matter how many billions you have. Next is Phong Nha, Ke Bang National Park. The data is clear. It contains the oldest cave systems in Asia, especially Sun Doong. CNN and the BBC call it another universe. The Swiss fund's note hits me hard. Mark, you want to build a 5-star hotel? This cave can fit a 40-story skyscraper inside, but its value lies in the fact that there are no buildings. Our clients pay $3,000 a night just to walk inside it. I swallow hard. I was planning to build an elevator there. I almost turned a unique masterpiece into a cheap theme park. Page 2. Soft power. This chart shows the explosion of national branding. Hoi An, which I just dismissed as old, is recognized by UNESCO as an exceptionally well-preserved example of a world trading port. But the numbers are what kill my arrogance. International tourist arrivals in Vietnam reached 17.5 million, with revenue recovering 98% post-pandemic, far outpacing regional competitors. Why? The report points out. Because of culture and experience. Tourists don't come to gamble casino. They come to see what I saw last night. A civilization adapting to nature. Trang, and Southeast Asia's first mixed heritage site, is proof that humans and mountains can live in reliance on each other. I swipe to the last page. Blue Ocean Strategy. The report lists all 9 names as a priceless collection that no other country in the region has a comparable variety of. 1. Ha Long Bay. 2. Trang. And complex. Mixed. 3. Complex of Hui monuments. Culture. Political power. 4. Hoi. An ancient town culture. Trade. 5. My Son's Sanctuary. Culture. Spiritual. 6. Imperial Citadel of Thang. Long continuous political history. 7. Citadel of the Ho Dynasty. Megalithic engineering. 8. Phong Nha. Kabeng National Park Jala. And the latest, heritage sites related to Yen Tu. Nam steps closer, placing a cup of hot lotus tea on the table. Mr. Mark, do you know why this house is still standing? Because it doesn't try to fight nature. It adapts to the wind. That is the nature-based solutions that the World Bank is advising Vietnam to apply against climate change. You think it's the past, but actually, it's the technology of the future. I put the iPad down. I look out at the mossy Citadel gate. Yesterday, it was an obstacle. Today, it is a teacher. I realize I'm a fool with a calculator. I calculated ROI based on cement, while Vietnam is sitting on a gold mine of living heritage. The Swiss were right. They didn't invest in me because I only know how to build glass boxes. But Vietnam, they possess the soul of humanity, and the soul doesn't depreciate. My arrogance has just been completely demolished, not by a storm, but by a brutal economic truth. I came here to teach them how to get rich, but they are the ones holding the key to sustainable prosperity. I stand up, turning to Nam. Nam, cancel the call with the Las Vegas construction team. Are you going back to the US? Nam asks, his eyes slightly sad. No. I smile. For the first time, a smile without calculation. Call the Heritage Conservation Team, and call that Swiss fund too. Tell them Mark understands what the game really is. A week ago, the roar of these V12 engines was the most seductive music to my ears. It was the sound of progress, of dominance, of money-crushing nature. But today, standing in front of the corrugated iron fence enclosing the heritage site, I only hear noise. A vulgar noise threatening to shatter the millennial balance I have just begun to understand. In my hand is a new plan. It's no longer concrete. It is respect. I step onto the makeshift stage, where the red ribbon awaits cutting. All eyes are on me, the Westerner, bringing $130 million. Nam hands me the golden scissors. His hands are trembling, his eyes looking toward the mossy Citadel gate, about to be overshadowed by a future 20-story hotel. I take the scissors, look down at the crowd. Cut the engines! I shout into the microphone. Everyone looks confused. The site foreman signals, but the noise is too loud. I said turn them all off! I roar, throwing the golden scissors violently onto the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, I begin, my voice deep and resonant. We are not breaking ground today, and we will never break ground on this damn project. Murmurs erupt. A panicked local partner runs up. Mr. Mark, are you crazy? Breach of contract penalties. We committed to the schedule. Do you hate money? I look straight at him, then point to the heritage complex behind my back, where curved tile roofs are peeking through the morning mist. I don't hate money. I'm a shark. I love money more than anyone here. But I just realized, we are about to do the stupidest thing in business history. We are about to slaughter the goose that lays the golden eggs just to sell a few pounds of scrap meat. I pull the Swiss report out of my briefcase and hold it high. Look at this. The world has no shortage of casinos. Macau has them. Vegas has them. Singapore has them. If we build another casino here, we are just latecomers, second-rate copies. But the world has only one Hoi Imperial City. Only one Hoi An. Only one Ha Long. That is Vietnam's unique selling point. I step down, walking toward Nam. He is still standing there frozen. Nam, I say, my voice softening. You were right. And I was wrong. Completely wrong. The crowd holds its breath. An arrogant Wall Street CEO publicly admitting fault? I thought I brought civilization to this land. But last week's storm taught me, you possessed a brilliant civilization, while my ancestors were still settling the Wild West. I mocked these old bricks as dead assets, but they sheltered my life when modern technology collapsed. My arrogance almost destroyed your heritage. I turn back to the bewildered investors. Project New Indochina is canceled immediately. What do you intend to do with the $130 million raised? A journalist presses. We will pivot, I declare boldly. From today, my fund is rebranded as the Heritage Guardian. I signal my assistant to turn on the large LED screen behind me. Instead of the image of a skyscraper, the screen displays a sketch of a completely different project. Low-rise resort lodges, hidden under the canopy, using local materials. Applying circular economy waste treatment technology. We will not build over the heritage. We will build around it, honoring it. 1. For Ha Long and Phong Nha, I will invest in a fleet of electric cruise ships and non-invasive cave exploration systems instead of cable cars. 2. For Hoi An and Hue, we will invest in restoration tech. I will bring the world's best experts here to help these walls stand for another 1,000 years. 3. For my son, we will build a virtual reality VR, AR museum in the buffer zone, so tourists can understand the historical value without touching and eroding the bricks. But sir, Nam speaks up, eyes tearing up, the profits will come slower. Yes, I nod, placing a hand on Nam's shoulder. Slower, but more sustainable. We will sell tickets to the past at the price of the future. We are not selling concrete, Nam. We are selling emotion. We are selling legacy. And trust me, the ultra-rich are willing to pay any price for things that money cannot buy. I turn to the nearest bulldozer operator. Buddy, turn that vehicle around. Your mission today is not to flatten this forest. Your mission is to clean up that pile of concrete rubble I built last week. Give the buffer zone its cleanliness back. I look at Nam, smiling. And Nam, book me a course on Vietnamese culture. Start with that philosophy of adapting to nature you talked about. I think I have more to learn than just how to make money. I watch the bulldozers turning around. For the first time, I feel like I'm not an invader. I am a partner. Vietnam's 9 World Heritage Sites don't need me to rescue them. They need me to be humble. And that humility, ironically, turns out to be the smartest investment of my life. If this were me a month ago, I would be screaming into my phone, demanding KPIs from my staff, or calculating how to drill an elevator shaft through that mountain. But today, I am silent. I turned off my phone. I left my $50,000 Rolex in the hotel safe. Here, amidst the flow of time in Vietnam, time isn't measured in hours, but in millennia. You know, I say, trailing my hand in the cool water, in New York, we define richness by the number of zeros in a bank account. We build skyscrapers to touch the clouds, but we forget how to keep our feet on the ground. The rower smiles gently, pointing up to a small temple perched precariously on the cliffside. That is the temple of the Trang kings. Nam translates for me. They left behind their golden palaces to come here and meditate, seeking peace. For the Vietnamese, the greatest wealth is leaving a pristine heritage for their descendants. I look up at the temple, small, humble, yet majestic. I recall the 9 names on the UNESCO heritage list. Ha Long, Phong Nha, Hue, Hoi An, my son, Thang Long Citadel, Citadel of the Ho dynasty, Trang An, Doong Van Karst Plateau. These 9 names are not just simple travel destinations. They are 9 chapters of a textbook on resilience and wisdom that the Western world has forgotten. I came here looking for economic success stories. I was looking for billion-dollar startup stories. But I found something much more valuable: a spiritual transformation. I realized that a nation doesn't need to concrete over everything to become powerful. Vietnam's true power doesn't lie in the skyscrapers rising in Saigon. That power lies here, in the silence of these limestone rocks, in the smile of this rower, in the way they preserve the past to nurture the future. This is culture, and culture is the only thing that cannot be copied, cannot be bought out, and cannot go bankrupt. Nam, I turn around. Do you feel proud? Of what, sir? Of our new project? Nam asks. No, proud that you were born here. Proud that your ancestors left behind these things instead of industrial wastelands. Nam smiles, his eyes sparkling. Very proud, Mr. Mark. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with the pure air of heritage. Me too. I'm proud that I didn't destroy it. I'm proud that from today, I am no longer the Wall Street shark. I am the guardian of these gods. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how a storm in Hue and a boat ride in Trang An tamed a Wall Street shark. Mark came for the gold, but he stayed for the soul. Vietnam's 9 World Heritage Sites are not just tourist destinations. They are mirrors. Look into them, and you might just find who you really are. This has been another story from Radio 84 MHz. If this story touched you, hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to slow down. From Vietnam with love, over and out.